Now let's talk about the word problem schemas where we use multiplication or division. There are four schemas that we will focus on today: equal groups, comparison, combinations, and ratios or proportions. First, let's talk about equal group stories. In an equal group story, we have groups with an equal number in each group. For example, Maya has two boxes of crayons. There are 12 crayons in each box. How many crayons does Maya have altogether? But we might also see the stories. Maya has 24 crayons. She wants to place them equally in two boxes of crayons. How many crayons will be in each box? Or we could also see the story. Maya has 24 crayons. She puts them into boxes containing 12 crayons each. How many boxes did Maya use? In each of these three equal group stories, we have the same three components: groups, an equal number in each group, and a product. In the first story, our job is to figure out the product. And the second story, our job is to figure out the number in each group. And in the third story, our job is to figure out the groups. Now, to help students cue into, is this an equal group story? We can ask students to ask themselves, are there groups with an equal number in each group? And once they decide that a story is an equal group story, they may want to use the equal groups equation, GR times N equals P, or groups times the number in each group equals the product, or a graphic organizer such as you see here. Here is an example of a solved equal group story. We figured out that this was an equal group story because we have cartons of cherries and the same number of cherries in each carton. So we used the equal groups equation, G times N equals P. We filled in the information from the word problem and solved for the unknown. Here the unknown is the product, and the product is 150 cherries. But do know that the unknown could have been the groups or could have been the number in each group. The next schema we will talk about is the comparison schema. In the comparison schema, we have a set multiplied a number of times for a product. For example, Jill picked 6 pumpkins. Sheen picked 2 times as many pumpkins as Jill. How many pumpkins did Sheen pick? To help students cue into whether a story is a comparison story, we could ask them to ask themselves, is a set compared a number of times? And if the answer is yes, they may want to use the comparison equation, S times T equals P, where the set multiplied the number of times equals the product. Or they might want to use a graphic organizer. Here, a number line is very helpful for solving a comparison problem. Here is a worked comparison problem. Here we're figuring out the pencils for Enrique. So Enrique has 2 times as many pencils as Ava. Ava has 6 pencils. So we show those sets of 6. So one set of 6 is from 0 to 6. The second set of 6 is from 6 to 12. So Enrique has 12 pencils. The third schema we will talk about is the combination schema. With the combination schema, a set of items is combined with another set of items. For example, Alec has 8 sweaters and 7 pairs of pants. How many outfits can Alec make with 1 sweater and 1 pair of pants? To help students cue into combinations problems, they should ask themselves, are you making combinations? And here they might want to use an equation such as S1 or set 1 times S2 set 2 equals P, or the product. Here is a worked combinations problem. First, you can see that I did a drawing. So I figured for each flavor of ice cream, there are 11 different toppings. Drawing these things out or even acting them out is going to be very helpful to students. Then I used the combinations equation, S1 times S2 equals P. Set 1 was the ice cream, or 12. I multiplied that by the 11 flavors, and then I solved for the unknown. Here the unknown was the product, and the product is 132. So we could make 132 combinations with 1 flavor of ice cream and 1 topping. The last schema we will talk about is the schema related to ratios or proportions. And here we are describing the relationships among quantities. So, for example, Sally typed 56 words in 2 minutes. At this rate, how many words could she type in 7 minutes? Another example is Margarita baked cookies and brownies. The ratio of cookies to brownies was 3 to 5. If she baked 25 brownies, how many cookies did she bake? To help students cue into whether a problem is a ratios or proportions problem, they should ask themselves, are there relationships among quantities? If this is to that, then this is to that. And then they may want to use different types of graphic organizers, two of which you see here. Now here is a worked example this is a proportions problem. So here we are comparing the blueberry muffins to the total number of muffins. And first I'm given a percentage of blueberry muffins to total muffins. So I write that as 40 is to 100. And then I compare that to 36 is to question mark, because I know there are 36 blueberry muffins and my job is to figure out the total number of muffins. So when we examine the relationship between the blueberry muffins and the total muffins, we solve for the unknown and we figure out that there are 90 total muffins. So to review, there are 4 word problem schemas related to multiplication and division. First, we talked about the equal group schema, where we have groups with an equal number in each group. Then we talked about the comparison schema, where I have a set multiplied a number of times. Then we talked about the combination schema. Are we making combinations? We multiply one set by another set. And finally, we talked about the ratios or proportion schema, where we're looking at those relationships among quantities. If this is to that, then this is to that. So thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Sarah Powell. If you want to learn more about these schemas, find me on Twitter, find me on my website, or email me.